When you think of football, you might think of this, but also this is football. It clearly makes sense when you play with your foot, it's called football, but when you're handling with your hand and really using your feet is also football? Hey, I'm Total, and today we're gonna figure out this not so brief history of football. So, when was football invented? Some historians suggest that the history of the sport dates back as far as 2500 BC, where the Mesoamericans used to play a ball game involving ritual and religious practices. The Greeks had their own version, which was called epiceiros, where the soldiers used to play for teamwork, which was similar to the modern day rugby. The most relevant of these ancient games to our modern day association football is the Chinese game of Cujo, which means kicking the ball. It involved kicking a small leather ball into a net strung by two bamboo poles. This game influenced many similar like sports throughout Asia and also Europe. Throughout the decades, as football had been evolving, people in Europe used to play something known as folk football, where two mob-like teams were pitted against each other. This could be stretched from one end of the town to another, with both teams trying to get the ball into their opponent's goals. As rules were not standard, it usually was very chaotic and violent, often seen as the biggest game of the year, and most matches were a big social event. But as countries like England were entering the Industrial Revolution, the decline of folk football was seen. Now, in the 19th century, football was played mostly in schools, yet the rules varied from different schools to another. Schools like Winchester, Eton, Westminster, and Cambridge were schools with smaller, confined spaces. They favored foot-only games, emphasizing on dribbling and kicking. This later developed into the modern-day football. But in schools like Marlborough, Rugby, and Cheltenham, they had larger open fields, which allowed for running with the ball in hand, fostering more physical play. This developed into the rugby football. There even goes a story during a game of football at rugby school in England. A young pupil named William Webb Ellis famously broke the established rules. Instead of kicking the ball, he boldly picks up the ball and ran towards the opposing goal. This fine disregard of rule is often cited as the pivotal moment which led to the development of rugby football. The very first football club founded was Sheffield FC. But what if I told you that this actually came from cricket? Yes, cricket. It all began in 1855 when the members of Sheffield Cricket Club would organize informal kickabout during the winter months when cricket wasn't being played. This was casual games without official rules, which was much known as mob football. Two particular members of this cricket club, Nathaniel Creswick and William Prest, saw the potential for more organized and standardized form of the game and decided to formalize these informal kickabouts into a proper club dedicated solely to football. Hence, in 1857, the very first football club, Sheffield FC, was founded. Both the founders, Nathaniel and William, wrote down the first standardized rule of football, which became the foundation of today's modern games. In 1860, the world's first inter-club match was played on Boxing Day, as Sheffield FC faced Harlem FC. As football's popularity grew, a demand for standardization of rules emerged, culminating in the formation of the Football Association, now known as the FA, in 1863, to unify the game's laws. The sport soon crossed borders, leading to the first official international match between Scotland and England in 1872 using the rules of the FA. But recognizing the need for constant global rules, the International Football Association Board (IFAB) was established in 1866 by the four British FAs as the permanent guardians of the law of game. The IFAB till date is an independent body which solely has the authority to change football's rules. FIFA solidified its authority by uniting national associations under common statutes and crucially by establishing the FIFA World Cup in 1930. Currently, FIFA governs the football with its 6 continental confederations under its umbrella. Football's core concept spread globally through British trade and influence, but the local adaptations quickly led to new sports. Back in England, rugby broke away from the early football when newly formed Football Association banned handling football. Rugby instead embraced running with the ball in hand and tackling, which created a continuous and physical game. American football evolved from rugby, which itself was a breakaway from early football, initially borrowing field-shaped goal-like kicking. However, it was radically changed by Walter Camp's innovations, which created a more tackling and with stop-start game, with regulated forward pass and a significant protective gear. Down in Australia, it evolved independently, borrowing ideas of ball and goals from early football to create a winter sport for cricketers. It distinguished itself by removing the offside rule and has a unique set of rules which totally makes it a different game. As football spread throughout the world, it kept transforming into an ever-growing global phenomenon which transcends culture and national boundaries, uniting billions of people even though if it's just for 90 minutes. This universal appeal makes it by far the most loved and watched sport on the planet. Its simple premise yet complex beauty ensures its continued expansion, captivating new generations across every continent. Ultimately, football stands as a testament to the power of the sport to connect people and inspire humanity.